It is June 8th, 2023, and this is the first Dotloop class, the base Dotloop class. Let everybody know if you do have your cameras off, you probably turn them off because we're recording this, and you don't need to be saving or getting credit for it. Also, it may slow down your feed as we're going through since I am sharing a live link. All right, so this is Dotloop. First thing we're going to do is go across, give you a little navigational information. Repeating, again, reporting is not necessarily going to be needed for anyone. When you're looking at this, this is simply just a data feed, data set, so no need necessarily to have anything in this reporting at that point in time. This is the Loops tab, and this is the screen we're in here. These are your little tile views. You can change that view over here on the right-hand side, the little drop-down under Add Loop, and you can have the grid tile view. You can have a list view like this, or you can have a compact view, and it just gives you a name with the type of information, any type of status, and then its creation dates. I prefer when I'm teaching to have this view. When I'm working, I usually like to have this view. So it's up to you how you want to do it. Preference either which way. You can also search in this bar here, so you don't have to scroll. Obviously, I've got a test account here for training, so it's not got too many loops, so it doesn't scroll too far. However, there is this search bar here if you're looking for a loop. All right, let's pop back up here and look at the rest of this. If you're using Dotloop for task management, you have your tasks right here. This one won't have any task at this. Well, it does. Sign a document CDIF. That was a test I did for David, and it was due on May 26th. If I come down here, I can see that I can change that to today, tomorrow, this week, next week, a specific date. I had that assigned to me. I can go in here and assign it to any of the admins if I wanted to. I can also come in here and say delete. So that task is now deleted. This right here is not where you would add tasks. This is simply your task manager where your tasks are located. So if you're going to look, you can come right in, check on your tasks, and be ready to go. This right here is your people button. This is your Rolodex. So if you're familiar with the old school Rolodexing, this is the Rolodex. This first screen that pops up with the tiles is going to be for TSPs. So if you're working with mortgage, you can come in here and grab your mortgage loan officer. If you're working with title, you come in here and grab your title officer. Also over here is then that contacts button. Now this right here is really important. I don't have that many people in here right now, so the trick to see, actually, I have a great example right here with Trisha Brady. So if I would have sent something to Trisha Brady and Trisha could see it, but she couldn't sign it, I probably assigned the task of signature to this person, Trisha Brady, who does not have an email address. So this Trisha Brady and that Trisha Brady are probably the same person. However, only this Trisha Brady email address would be able to sign. And if she could read it, she got it because of this, but it was assigned to this version of Trisha Brady, she wouldn't be able to sign the document. So whenever you have a client call and say, I can see it, but I can't sign it, you want to come up here to your people, you want to type in their name, and you want to determine if you have two people and one has an email, one maybe have a different email address. If this was a second email address, Trisha Brady might be looking at her RW Towne, and this might be a Yahoo or a Gmail account. So you have to be in the account that you were assigned to. So again, if you were assigned to an account, that's what you need to be in when you're signing the documents. So that's a little helpful tip if your clients are saying they can see it, but they can't sign it. All right. Give me 1 second. Turn off that. All right. If you guys have questions, feel free to raise your virtual hand, type it in the chat. If we can't get your attention, you can just unmute yourself at any point as well. All right, so that's the Rolodex of people right here. You can also add a person if you want to add a person, put in their full name. You need to have their email address. You can select their role, buying, sales manager, listing, office, buyer, corporate. You got lots of different roles in here that you can go in and choose from. Other down there if you're looking for the catch-all. All right, so this again is the people section. Y'all probably not going to see too much on the templates, so let's come over here. Oh, you'll see templates right here. So these will be your templates. So these will be where the forms are, and you can come in and grab whatever forms you're looking for in that perspective. All right, so you got your inbox if you're sending anything to yourself, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. Your town realty documents, these are just BHHS forms. This is just RAIN forms. This is just VAR forms. Then these are VAR interactive documents. Now, some of you may be in North Carolina, you may be in New Homes, you may be in Williamsburg, you may be in Gloucester, you may be in a lot of different places. You would see the forms that are associated with your license. So because I'm in the Tim Vohar, I'm licensed in Virginia, I'm in Hurrah, VAR, I'm only going to be exposed to those forms. So if you're licensed in North Carolina, you're a new homes agent, you're a property manager, anything, and you're not seeing forms over here, that's okay. You might actually only be in your profile for Virginia. So this is Tim Vohar, and I'm going to do something real quick when I show you this. You would come down and change and find, and let's say here's the training office. That would be my other profile. That would be where I'd find those other forms in there. So you're not going to see all of your forms in one profile. You only see the forms for that profile that are accessible. All right, so
Hey,
let's
Tim.
go. Yes.
So can you talk a little bit more about the interactive forms? When I was in there, I didn't understand why these ones are interactive and the other ones aren't.
So in the interactive forms with VAR, these documents are supposed to be cataloged to your NERDS ID number. So if there's an issue going on at some given time on the back end, that could be part of the issue. I have not necessarily done a total test on these yet. You're saying there's an issue?
Well, I'm just curious as to why these ones would be interactive, because they're for the entire state of Virginia, but we can look at that at a later time.
Yeah, let me make a note, Valerie. Okay, I will take a look at those. All right, so then also over here, your tasks. If you wanted to create your own task list, you can come here, click on task list. Tim's task list. Hit create tasks. And I can say, and actually, I'll come down here, rename it to Tim's listing task list. Because what I want to do is I want to come down here to add a task, and I'll say sign the paperwork. Add a lockbox. Then thank you note for referral. Okay, so you can add any number of tasks you want to your task list. You can also come over here. You could rename it or delete it. You can use the drop down and you can say, okay, I want to do it today. I want to do it tomorrow. I want to do it this week. So let's say I want to do my task list. I'm going to do today. And then I'm going to come here and I'm going to assign it to Tim Vohar. And then add a lockbox. I want to do that tomorrow. So I want to do it the day after. So I can go do that then, come down to my drop down, go down to Tim Vohar. Then I can come here and say, thank you note. I want to do that today. And I'm going to come down and I'm going to assign that to Tim Vohar. And then that way, I'll show you in a minute where this task list will come into play. Now I won't ever have to create this task list again. Anytime I'm doing a listing, I can pull it in. When I'm in a listing, if there's a specific task I need to add for 1234 Blueberry Street, I'll be able to do that as well. So this is my base task list for me for my listings going forward. So anyone can go in there and do that. All right, so let me come over here and I'm going to hover over my profile. The reason I'm hovering over my profile is because I want you to see in the video when you're watching coming back, where you want to go is to come down to my account. Right here, you want to go to my account. We're going to click on that. we're going to come over here to profiles. And you want to go down. If you have multiple like I do, you're just going to find the right one. So here's Tim Vohar. Here's my profile. And I'm going to come over here, just so everybody sees this. I'm going to put Virginia. And then you can see I have my phone number. If I had a fax number, I could do that. You can add or remove a photo. Now here's your broker license number. So this number is the company broker's license number. So you can put that in, and then you don't ever have to autofill that in the contracts or listings. It will autofill in the appropriate places once you get it set up in your profile. So 0226-036-456. That's the broker license number. That's for the firm. My office ID, so this is for Norfolk, the Norfolk office ID, 138713. You all will be 1387 something. So 1387 and then 2 digits based on your office. Broker agent ID, this is my RAIN ID. So this would be where you put your RAIN ID. And this is my agent license, 0225-054-196. So that's my license. So you will use this number here. Everybody will use this number. This number will be dependent upon the office. Then these will be your 2 numbers based on RAIN and your license. All right, you will have a brokerage affiliation will automatically be in here, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, RW Towne Realty, and then it will have your office address that you're assigned to. So I'm assigned to 312 West 21st. That's what's going to be here. Yours would be there. You're not necessarily going to have to add an association, so you're good here. You can fill in the company, BHHS, or you can actually do it like this. Copy. Come down here and paste. Look at that. I didn't have to type it, and it's filled in. And then if I wanted to, I could come over here and I could type in Norfolk so that when it shows up in the contract, it's good to go for Norfolk for me. And then admins know when we're doing EMDs if we're holding it or if it's for a different office. We don't need to put the company's information in here. That's not necessary from an owner perspective. Here's the address all filled in. In this case, I have all the notifications turned off. If you want to have them on, you can turn them on. You can turn them off. This is my personal account, so I don't need to have these notifications coming to me because I'm not working in here other than for teaching purposes. So mine are all turned off. You certainly can take a look at these and see what you want to do from a compliance standpoint or review standpoint and how you want to work from that perspective. Always make sure you come down and click the blue save button. Very important. If you don't hit save, you're not going to get all that information we saved or we've typed in up above. All right. You'll get the yellow bar that says profile details changed successfully. If you don't see that, click that save button again. All right. Let's stop and pause and see if there's any questions. No questions? Okay. So let's go back up here to loops. Now you'll see right here, Tim Vohar, Virginia. So when I click on those templates, now here's the templates. And then when I'm over here, I can see I'm in the Virginia one. That's why I have all of these forms the way they are. If I was in North Carolina, I'd be in the North Carolina profile. I would have the appropriate forms for North Carolina. New homes, property management, Williamsburg, Gloucester, Richmond, whatever forms you might be a part of, those would be associated with that specific profile. Questions on that? All right. Let's go and do a loop. All right, so across here, Tim Vohar, Virginia, you see I've put this in, Norfolk office. Here's the activity log. You want to see all the activity you've done, any notifications for actions that you've done. Click on that, and there's those. I can mark them all as red. Let's see. Red. Red should be good. All right, now I have no notifications. Like language. All right, so before I create a brand new loop, I want to show you here, if I was looking for a loop, I could start typing in the person's name, and here comes the loops that are associated with someone named David. I don't think I have an address yet. Let's see. Yep, there we go. So there we go. I typed in 819, and here 819 pops up as the address for the property. If you were using an MLS number, those would also show up. I know there's no MLS numbers in here, so I'm not even going to begin to do that. But if I were going to do that, 101, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, nothing results. You can also double check yourself and say search all loops in case you have a filter set for some reason. Click on that. Again, no results. So you'll see this time it doesn't say search all loops. So if you ever feel like there's got to be a loop, no results found. Okay, and if we come here, I do 819. I can hit search filtered loops, and then all loops that had filters on it would show up as well. So again, if you feel like there's a loop in there and it's not there, just hit that other button that says search all loops, because you may have gone over here and you may have turned on your filters for some reason because you were looking for a review status, some kind of loop status, something in here for some particular reason. So you set your filter. Close that. So you have your filters that you can set there. Now these are set by creation date, but you can have it by last updated, transaction, listed, expiration, closing date, submitted for review date, or contract agreement date. So up to you how you want to have those appear for you in your dot loop. All right, and then I went over this already on how they display. Questions on any of this so far? All right, no questions. So we'll go to add to loop, and we're going to start with my favorite 1, 2, 3, 4 blueberry. And as you can see, I'm not getting anything for blueberry. There's a Google Maps for Fairfax, Virginia, Herndon, Monrovia, but nothing for Norfolk. So I always like to try and use an example. So let's go to 819, 48th. All right, now as I type it in, you can see here, 819 West 48th Street, Norfolk, Virginia, listed by the training office. Well, if I was doing a training office deal and I wanted to connect with them, I could certainly choose that. I'm not looking for that, and I'm not looking for DC or Brooklyn or Washington, DC. It's being a little glitchy. I'm looking for 819 West 48th Street, Norfolk, Virginia, listed by Google Maps. The reason I want to use this address with Google Maps is because it will auto-fill into my listing documents, my sales documents, whatever it might be, the information, and I'll never type that 819 48th Street if everything is set up properly. So I'm going to choose that. It auto-filled that into the property address. I'm going to come down here, click on continue. I'm going to choose a loop template, and we have the standard listing agreement. We have the standard purchase. There's a land, there's a blank listing, a blank purchase, and then you're not going to use this because this is accounting admin only. All right, in this case, I'm going to start this as a listing. So I'm going to click on that standard listing. I'm going to click continue. This is the one point where you could upload a photo if you wanted to put a photo in here. I don't typically put photos. Some agents do. Up to you if you want to use a photo, no issue. Click on the word done, and it's going to create the loop for you. All right, here we go, 819 West 48th. It tells me it's new, nothing's been done. I have a listing for sale. My status is none. It could be pre-listing, so I'll change that to a pre-listing. I don't have a price yet, so I'll skip that. I don't have a closing, going to skip that. I'm not creating another loop. I want to actually look at this loop, so I'm going to click on View Loop. Now, when I open it, it has all of the standard documents that I'm going to need for the listing. It's got a home warranty document. It's got a contract document, and it's got a closing document folder, all preset, ready to go for you. If you needed to create a new folder for any particular reason, maybe you got a bunch of receipts, you can click Add Folder, and you could add receipts. And I typed it different ways because it's always going to capitalize these for you. So there's my receipts folder right there. Okay. So let's go down here to our listing documents. So I want to get this listing set up and filled in. I'm going to put a check mark right here, listing documents, and I'm going to click on open. I want you to notice I've selected everything so that they all open at the same time. The reason I want to open them all at the same time is because I want the autofill function to work on each and every document. I only want to have to type information one time if I have to type it at all. All right, so I'm not working with a buyer, but I am working with a seller. So I'm going to come in here and I can select the person at this point. I don't have a seller, so I can add a person. So I can put in here G Giraffe. So we'll put Giraffe, and he is going to be my seller, already pre-selected. This button here, add to my team, very carefully, do not click this. The only reason you would click this is if you're working with another admin. So I see Valerie's on the call. Valerie and I are teaming up. We're going to work this listing together. We're both colleagues as agents. I would add to the team Valerie. If I add to the team my seller, anything I say, do, or put into Dotloop, the seller can see. So I do not want to add to my team the seller. What I want to do is skip over that one unless it's with another agent. All right. You can put all the seller's contact information here if you want. You can also send an intro email if you want to. It's a very generic, plain email. If you've told them about Dotloop, maybe you don't need to send this. If you haven't told them, I'd still be careful about sending it because it is pretty generic. So be aware of that. I'm going to click Add Person. Now you can see over here, the seller 1 is selected as Giraffe. Come down here and it says search by address, but I don't need to. 819 West 48th Street, Norfolk, Virginia, 23508. All listed. If there was an MLS number, I could put it in there, but we don't have that yet since we're getting ready to list it. I don't know what those prices are going to be. The sale commission rate is going to be 6%, 3%, 3%. Again, I'm filling these fields in here. If I don't fill them out here, they will auto-populate backwards when I put it into the listing documents. So it depends on how you want to do it. Add closing date, no problem. You don't have that yet. Add a referral if I'm going to have to pay a referral fee. Add an expiration date. If I knew what the listing dates were going to be, I can fill all of this in. I'm just going to kind of skip through, but you can see there's some base information you can fill in here from an auto-fill perspective. I'm going to go in here and put this information in here just so you can see some of the fields when they do light up in the forms itself. Okay, I'm going to click autofill. And now you'll see here we have yellow fields for documentation that was inserted automatically by the system. So the first time it gets in there, it's yellow because the system automatically did it. If I come in here and I put a list date of June 9th, it's going to be white because I manually put that in there. This yellow is to call your attention to verify that the information is relative to the contract or the documentation. Again, you'll see this is in yellow. If I had that legal description, I could put it in there. And then you can see here that 6/9/2023 auto-populated off of me putting it right here. But again, this is white because I manually put it in there, so it's going to presume I knew what I was doing. Put this in here. 250,000, I think is right. Okay. And then when we get down here, you'll see this is set up for GE to sign, ready to go for their initials. Just gonna scroll through this a little bit. You can see this is not, you can come in here and put NA. Again, these things are not going to turn yellow because I'm manually putting them into the system. All right, let's just get done with this. And we'll come down here and you can see that this was auto-populated by the system because it's yellow. All right, if I put in the listing firm, because I did not put myself in as the listing agent, right, I can come in here and add, or I can come here and assign to Tim Vohar. Now it's only assigned that. Here, it did not assign my listing firm because when I did autofill, I didn't choose me. So if I realize that, I can come over here, click autofill, save my changes.
Tim, while you're waiting, can I just confirm what you just said? So I just want to make sure that when you started inputting the information into the different fields, the reason it's yellow on the sheet is because that was already pre-filled and is telling you that.
That's
Is that
correct.
right? Okay.
Yep. Whenever you use the autofill function, that first time it's going to be yellow, so that it says, hey, the system did this, double check to make sure this is right. It's going to presume if you type it into one field that you want it in all the fields, but it's making sure that those fields were all set up correctly, and that's why it's yellow.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So now I'm back to that autofill. I can come over here, listing agent 1, can pick Tim Vohar. That's me. I'm going to scroll all the way down here, and I'm going to click on autofill. And there we go. Now it's yellow because it auto-filled, and there's that Berkshire Hathaway Home Services RW Towne Realty. Here's my ID. Here's my agent number, ready to go. So that's there. All right, next is I'm going to come here to supervising broker, and I'm going to find my supervising broker, Tim Vohar. Oops. And if it works right, it should autofill. There we go. It will autofill my information. Well, we got to get this changed. Firm, oh, no, firm reigned IDs. That's correct. Firm license number, that's correct. All right. So that information is all ready to go. And see, I didn't type any of this because all you have to do is go there, supervising broker. Actually, this is not going to work now because I've put myself in. So don't make a mistake and put the wrong broker in. You're going to have to get that. We're going to have to figure out how to fix that for you if that happens. Make a note of that real quick. Okay. So there's all that information. This one, again, this is all defaulted and set up that way. Scroll down. Now you can see because I did that autofill, there's that Berkshire Hathaway Home Services RW Towne Realty autofilled in there. And because we put the 6 in that form, there's the 6% and there's the 3%. This again, autofilled, listing agent sign here. Again, more autofilled information because I put in the agent after we started this transaction. I'm not going to do any more data fields. You guys can see how that worked, that all worked with the yellows. So let's scroll through this. All right, and you can see all down here, all these different things are signed. All right, when it's time for you to sign, you can simply click on listing agent sign here, click sign now. It's going to confirm that you want to adopt your signature, adopt and sign, and there I go. There's my signature. Next time I get to that form, actually, I don't have any more of those at that point, so let's go back up. The second time I sign, it says sign now. It's not going to confirm because it said you've already done that once in the loop. All right, that is our basic class on getting started for the documentation. We're going to presume that all of this is signed by the clients or ready for signature for the clients. So we're going to click here to choose them. I don't need the checklist for them to sign. This is not a lead-based paint, so I don't need that. Let's see, I'm going to use whichever document I used here on the worksheets. So I'm deselecting the documents I do not want to share with the clients. I just want the ones I need them to see, review, read, and sign for me. So I've got that selected and click the share button. There's Giraffe. Giraffe has 23 fields they can sign. Here's the can sign button. If I need to add somebody for review purposes, it's automatically defaulted at this point to view only. I can enter a message. Hey, buddy. Here are the documents to get us started. 10. If you wanted to attach a PDF, you can do that by clicking that button here. Sometimes if you're working with agents that want to get PDF, this is the way I would do it. I would do it in Dotloop with the attach the PDF, so that way you have the tracking availability in the future. Click on share. These documents have been shared and waiting, all ready to go. Click done. Now they say they're waiting on others. So at this point, it's been shared with Giraffe and the admin, so my local office, and then the corporate admins all have access to them at this point. This one right here has been shared with the admins, so they have access to it. And that tells you that 2 versus that 3. Now this is waiting on Giraffe. Now let's presume Giraffe has signed all these documents. Next thing to do is to come up here and click on Submit for Review. I click on Submit for Review. Because I put a receipts folder here, that's popped up first. I want to share just those listing documents. Click on this, choose listing. New listing for input for class test. Do not do anything. All right, I'm going to click submit. And then you can see over here, these documents have all been submitted to the admin, and it says office admin needs to review. And then you'll see the tracking over here as it changes through the process to manager needs to review, manager approved, reviewed, waiting for you, return to agent. If this ever says returned to agent, you better come over here and look and see what's returned, because there's something there, and there's most likely an orange button here that has a note that says what a reason for it being returned. All right, that is our basic introduction to Dotloop. Questions? Any questions? All right, we will be having more Dotloop training. We'll be doing Dotloop 2.0. We'll be doing Dotloop working with others. We'll be doing tips and tricks. Those do all exist, but they will be updated with the new RW Towne. But currently there are videos, work pretty much the same way with some updated features in the training video library on YouTube. If you do have the training video, the training email, you can simply click on the YouTube link and it will take you to the YouTube channel with all the different videos that we've done over the years for training purposes. If there's no other questions, I will take leave and we'll see you back here if you're coming back at 11 o'clock with Blaine and Ernest. All right, no other questions? All right, thank you, everybody. Have a great, Valerie, you got a question?
No. I
Okay,
was going to say thanks and goodbye.
you're welcome. Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.